Well, hi guys, and welcome to day 2 of one of my favourite weeks, the week leading up to Easter, which I think is the most important and most special time of the year. Yesterday, we started looking at our Easter eggs and seeing as they told us the true story of what happens at Easter, or what happened at that first Easter. In our first egg, we had the donkey, which reminded us that Jesus came in, and people knew that he was God's special one, God's special king. And then our second Easter egg had those 3 pieces of silver remind us that one of Jesus' friends, one of his special friends, said for 30 pieces of silver, I'll tell you where Jesus is, to the authorities who didn't like him because they wanted to kill him. And in our third Easter egg we had the cup, which reminded us that Jesus knew what was going to happen. Jesus knew that he was going to die, but he knew he was going to die so that he could save everybody in the world. And so Jesus told his friends to do something to remember what he was about to do. And then the fourth thing in our Easter eggs were the praying hands, because after Jesus had that special meal with his friends, they went up to a garden and there they prayed. So how about you join me today as we get through some of the next eggs in our collection and see what next happened in the story of Easter. Well, while they're up in the garden praying, that friend of Jesus, Judas, who betrayed him for 30 silver pieces, he gave him with some soldiers and some guards. And they arrested Jesus. And they took Jesus off, and they had a fake court, and they decided that Jesus was guilty. They decided that Jesus needed to be killed. And after they did that, they gave Jesus over to soldiers to get ready to kill him. But one of the things that the soldiers did, we'll see inside this Easter egg. And there we go there. You might not be able to see that, but that's a bit of leather. And we have a bit of leather because one of the things the soldiers did was after they arrested Jesus, they whipped him, and they hit him, and they made fun of him. And then, another thing the soldiers did to Jesus, we'll find this in this Easter egg, is this one's a bit hard to see, and it's a bit hard to tell. But this one, I'll hold it up here, is they got some thorns, and they made a crown out of it, and they put it on Jesus' head. And they said to Jesus, "Oh, you are the king. Look at you with your great crown. Oh, your majesty. Oh, your majesty." And they mocked him and they made fun of Jesus. And after they finished that, they took Jesus out of the city. And the Bible tells us they took him to a place called Golgotha, which means place of the skull. And while they were there, just open up this Easter egg. They killed Jesus by putting him on a cross. They killed Jesus by putting him on a cross. And while he was up there on the cross, people walked past and they said things to Jesus like, "If you really are God's special one, come down from there, then we'll believe you." And people made fun of him. And that's a really, really sad part of the story, isn't it? They killed Jesus. The one who they thought was God's special one, they then put on a cross and killed him. But I want to tell you that all this happened as part of God's plan. Many, many hundreds of years before they killed Jesus, God told one of his friends, a man named Isaiah, about what was going to happen to God's special one. And this is exactly what happened to Jesus. I'm going to read it for you from Isaiah 53. "But he took our suffering on him and felt pain for us. We saw his suffering. We thought God was punishing him. But he was wounded for the wrong things we did. He was crushed for the evil things we did. The punishment which made us well was given to him, and we are healed because of his wounds." What the Bible is telling us is that Jesus didn't die because he'd done anything wrong. No, Jesus died on that cross so that we could be friends with God. Because all of us go against God, and the Bible calls that sin. And that means we all deserve to die, and we all deserve not to be part of God's family. But God wanted us to be part of his family. So he sent Jesus to die to take that punishment for us. So when we trust Jesus, because Jesus died for us, we can be part of God's forever family and not have to face the punishment ourselves. That's part of the reason why I think Easter is the greatest time in the year and why I love this week leading up to Easter. Well, that's all we've got time for today. I hope this has been really helpful as we explored the story of Easter with you, and I hope to see you tomorrow as we continue exploring the story of Easter as we go through our Easter eggs.